Today's show is called Topic for a Carbon Unit. That's CU. That's 666.
Well, I'll see you 666 and I'll raise you 25 million. So did you know that nearly every named disease, did you know disease is two words? It's dis plus ease. So you're breaking from ease. I know, isn't that funny? So we actually call it what it actually is. So every named dis-ease is originating from a man-made a vaccine. It's a scene where you're vexed. It's like going to a party and taking a cake party when you're in high school. All right, so the diseases are break from ease. It's just like going to a keg party and drinking too much and throwing up in the bathroom or falling asleep, one or the other. So let's start over again. Nearly every named disease originates from a man-made vaccine, and then it's protracted by a poison environment, toxic, harsh mimetic communications, and adulterated water, air, and food. Oh, it's a party, all right. The medical, did you know that medical is two words, medi for the middle? That means the middle of the world, the middle earth. Guess where that is? In the middle of every human being is where middle earth is. So the medical is actually two words. It's medi, mean the middle of you, which is the middle of the universe too, if you didn't know. So the medical societies is actually two words, medi, the middle of you, and then call. That means they're in charge of selecting everything about you, where you go, what you do, what you think about, and what remedies should be provided to you if you ever feel bad. So, they're a cool, I guess you could say, member of the party, the medical societies. Okay, the medical societies literally lay in wait for the weight of the bad choices to manifest them into named diseases. And then they offer the remedies. That's the repeat medi, repeat medi, repeat medi. It's literally a march to death, but over and over and over again. That's why their name is medical. So if only a miracle would come along, we would be saved from this party that's not so much fun. Anyway, they manifest your bad choices into named diseases, and then they offer you remedies, and they do that along with their partners in the corporations, the institutions, the media, and the governments, which means control mentalities.
Well, the standard confidence game played for millennia of problem, reaction, solution. It works every time on lemming conditioned soul carriers. This next section is called imitation warfare. The legal system's main weapon against the populace to appease their masters is the use of mimetic warfare or abuse of speech and language. Legalese speak is designed so the lawmakers, the prosecutors, the lawyers, and the judges understand what is said, but the plaintiff or the defendant does not. This leaving all who face a judge as a victim of criminals and operators of deceptions. Is whining a better lifestyle option than winning? If so, why? Do you really feel helpless against liars, thieves, and murderers who cannot operate without your sanctification and glorification? So a chat user came in and offered, do all of the victims of evil deserve that evil? If not, God wouldn't be just or good for letting that evil happen, regardless of free will. People could still choose from non-evil choices. Someone letting a child starve or die of a natural disaster when they could trivially afford to help them isn't just. Why hold a double standard for God, especially when God created natural disasters in the first place? God created humanity knowing that some people would do evil things. So therefore, God is responsible for the evil and hence not a good God. God is all powerful, so God is able to achieve any potential greater good without the need for evil. And it's clear that if God wanted us to choose, God wouldn't threaten us with eternal punishment. There is no evil in heaven according to God, so either evil isn't required for the greater good in heaven, or heaven has no free will. And if evil isn't required in heaven, then it isn't required on earth due to God's omnipotence. God could have simply created people who were capable of evil, but never wanted to do evil.
Well, first, I'd like to congratulate you for entering the mind and intelligence and motives of God. That is quite bold of you, and I give you an A+ for boldness. But in response to your statements, we mortals make the realities, and the God or the force of God is providing the environment. Whatever we mortals project outwards is returned to us. This truth was and is spoken by every great mystic in our time. What goes up must come down as the spinning wheel goes round and round. Escape is easy, though.
Well, the response was, do starving children deserve to starve?
There is a solid reason for every outcome, as solid as the air is thin.
And they said, is God too weak to achieve that reason without starving kids? Blindly trust the leader? Don't think critically?
You literally stated the answer without realizing it. Man is the one willing realities, as mankind has domain over his thoughts and environment. God, or the force of God, is providing the playing field. The first time man idolized led to where we are today. Man is unique, but God is the most unique.
Did God create everything? Is God too weak to achieve that reason without starving kids?
Reason being the key word, mankind is the one creating the reasons and acting on them. God is the operating system.
And another chat user said, God is the operating system. And even another came in and said, God is iOS. And the original chatter said, cancer is part of the OS.
So what is your question?
God makes cancer.
First of all, cancer is happening all the time as a self-resolving natural defense occurrence in the anatomy. And the lies of cancer are a business created by men, not God.
Who created nature? Cancer was created by humans? And another chat user said, why? And the original said, good question.
The cancer remedy business is a mega billion-dollar operation, but that's minimal compared to the real power of this business, which is in the lives and to create fear and dependency across the population's minds and actions. Cancer itself is natural and good for the body.
So they said, and I think cancer is real, but it's just a part of biology.
So we agree.
Yeah. I suppose so. I wouldn't call it good health wise, though.
Well, think about the biopsy. It punctures the tumor and spreads the poison all around the body. When you ingest toxins, cancer tumors are encasing them for safe disposal.
This next section is called imitate, and imitate equals I'm, T, 8. The art and science of mimetic warfare makes lies appear real, also deployed in Western schools with rote learning. Leaning too heavily on memorization makes one exploitable to mesmerization, as is clearly observable in our modern tech sharing world. Critical brain function is removed, so the user is left with emotional recalls and sensual delights, with dramas to fill his empty mind.
Wow. Well, let's go back to the crazy loon we were talking to earlier. And this section's called Who Made Nature?
And they said, who created nature? Cancer was created by humans.
Yeah, they asked it as a question.
Yeah.
So the truth is that God, or the spark of God, is the universe and is the air we breathe. God created all of nature and all the life forms, including the highest life form, mankind. Mankind is a species and contains a fragment of God inside his heart. This is a human being's power source and also gives the human being domain over his creative thoughts and environment. God plays the game of mortality with us as the axis or the spindle. Each of us is the record playing against and with the spindle and the operating system.
And the chat user said, did he create cancer and disease? All life forms, including disease?
Disease in its truth and in its lies are both a development of the human species. Yes, cancer, as it truthfully is a defense mechanism and good for the anatomy.
And they responded, cancer cells grow uncontrollably, invading and destroying healthy tissues and potentially spreading to other parts of the body. The disease significantly contributes to social and economic burdens. There is no scientific evidence that cancer is beneficial for the body.
Well, maybe you only looked 1 or 2 pages into 1 or 2 books, so that's why you would come to that conclusion. The reason things are so complex is that mankind has taken the obvious into oblivion with his discoveries. The truth is, the simple has the correct answers to the obvious, and the complex fulfills oblivion. In other words, the more evidence I provide of the simple truth, the more you will attempt to counter with the complex lies. We will both lose from exhaustion. Let me know if you ever desire the simple and obvious truth.
All diseases are named from the variety of reactions the anatomy provides to being in a toxin environment or ingesting poisons directly. And we say it can also occur from spreading dis-ease, misinformation, and lies that results in remedies instead of cures, and then to corruption and wars and genocides.
So how do we use the map of speech and language?
From studying speech and relationships, we were able to break every secret, every lie or deception that mankind has ever created since the beginning. As a team, we lost every pain, fear, illness, guilt, confusion, judgment, or death. We won, and we are happy to bear witness to God and victory.
Well, that's the nicest thing I ever heard. Let's try a new topic called mimetic warfare education. So that's a blend of education and mimetic warfare. And it's known as rote, R-O-T-E learning. It's a memorization technique. It involves repeating information until it's committed to memory, often without understanding the underlying concepts. There's a science that's very similar to this educational process called NLP, or Neuro Linguistic Programming.
And doctors are also culted into a God complex mentality. It is a strategy of the overlords. Rote learning is widely criticized for not promoting deeper understanding or critical thinking skills. Sadly, no one will respond as they are getting paid and glorified to remain ignorant. The Chinese learner paradox, seen in Biggs, 1996, reveals that students in East Asian contexts use memorization as a first step to prepare for later achievements and profound conceptual mastery, rather than it being an endpoint as done in the West. And Chat Matt replied, I have observed this, since they have the control of life in hands and often praised by other people, which feeds their ego. The good money amplifies it too. Endpoint? What do you mean? What's the difference between the West and East?
The difference between the West and East. Shall I put all 1,000 volumes right here? The Western students are purposely trained to repeat what is learned without mastering the concepts. This yields a well-trained and useful idiot automaton to suit the agendas of corporate masters. The Americans and Westerners are subdued with well-stocked chicken coops and endless dramas, both personally and all around them.
What is a profound conceptual mastery? I get it now.
Yes, mastering a concept.
Well, if you have no critical thinking, isn't that just being in receive mode?
A mimic automaton, or a useful idiot. It's all a setup so that we will glorify the demons, as that is what they want and need to survive. Any fool with eyes can see this.
And Matt said, what does one have to do to prevent that?
Once the problem is identified, then the solution is identified. Everything is in processions. There aren't any shortcuts. Seek knowledge, then apply it, and seek guidance when needed.
I understand one thing based on observation now. Everything is give and take. Literally everything.
Yes, it's like the grand seesaw of your life. But what is the order? The answer is that what we give is what we shall take.
And he said, I always remember that you say that, and that the occultists, the ones who go against God, actually do everything opposite of God or nature. They want to outplay nature.
It does make the game rather easy once you see it, but their motive appears to be survival.
And Chat Matt said, it's not, but why kill kids? Well, it's not, but why kill kids, drink their blood, and do evil shit? That's what I don't understand.
To survive, I would presume.
Why not be like the rest? Why do the rest not do that to survive?
Well, they crime so many times through eons and generations that they can't turn back. They are permanently demons forever, and they are pissed off at losing. And that's why they are crippling all the infrastructure as a final cry. They have the intention of collapsing everything you know and then offering you relief.
Why did they do that when they knew the consequences?
To keep your attention into perpetuity. It's a development that we're experiencing over many generations and eons.
And Chatmat said, I don't want to do crimes to become like that. It scares me.
Well, that's a good notion, but will you stay in your chair or will you get out of it? We've all participated and collaborated. The earth we live on is a battlefield, but it's also a proving ground. It's your call, player.
I want to be a very good person, live in appreciation, be a wise and kind person.
That sounds good, but sometimes good people have to do horrible things.
Why?
Well, if I'm being attacked, shall I lay down or fight?
Fight for sure, but it's self-defense. You are not the one who causes it.
Well, where did I say a good person started the trouble? What about when I know an attack is coming and I want to prevent it? Should I lay in wait until the attack comes to me? If I lay in wait, it affords the attacker more time to prepare to the point I will not be able to protect. Is it good to do something horrible in advance of the attack? If only life were simple and all of us were dumb lemmings. Life would be so good.
Well, Chatmat said, then we attack. Why would anyone want to attack us, though? Why attack? Why violence?
That sounds like the I Love Lucy show because she screamed why like 20 times every week. It's the development of our species and the leaders we idolize.
I see. Everything a development. Ah.
Development's a code word, and the base is develop. And develop is a triune of DE, which means keep or dismiss, relating to human domain or free will. And the central figure is the VEL, the anatomy. It means the container, like an envelope or envelop. And the OP is the operation perfection. The MET means mental, mentality, thought. It's pretty simple, huh? Nothing is hidden. It's willfully ignored.